So midterms are coming up soon. Everybody's obviously jockeying. We're currently under another government shutdown based on ICE being the main topic. Democrats are holding on that they want body cams on all ICE agents. Trump's like, fine, let's do it now. There's budget for it. We'll get it implemented. We need cameras, show evidence that ICE agents are legally, they're acting in a legal manner. The other one is basically Democrats want masks taken off and also IDs on ICE agents. There is 800% increase in death threats of ICE agents. Doxing, if I was in that position as an ICE agent, I want masks and no name. Obviously, the team of ICE agents would be on record and their missions and what they did and what they didn't do. And if there was an issue, then it would be handled that way through the court. But to have their faces out there and everything like that, again, 800% increase in death threats towards ICE agents is unacceptable. They are literally enforcing the laws, our immigration laws. If you like it or not, it doesn't matter. It's the rule of law. Now, if they start just shooting people randomly, then, without cause or not defending themselves or something, yes, they should be held completely and absolutely accountable. But I would love to see a website where congressional members, specifically the ones pushing for the doxing of ICE agents, have a website of all their staff members, pictures. Then next week you release their names. Why not? It's the same thing. Things are so divisive now. And the Democrats and all these protests and stuff, and I'm over children are being held or detained without their families. Most of the children that are being detained are here without their parents or legal guardian.
In addition to taking public safety threats off the street, ICE here in this state have located 3,364 missing unaccompanied alien children. Children that the last administration lost and weren't even looking for. That's because of the leadership of President Trump, these children were located.
A lot of them are being trafficked and actually saved by ICE agents. But media and Democrats will never say that. I have to admit the Trump administration has been horrendous at communication and controlling the narrative and informing the masses of the United States citizens what's going on.
And this is a horrific smear that we're seeing the mainstream media and politicians on the left, including Kamala Harris, take and run with. The facts are actually that this little boy was abandoned by his own father. His own father was being approached by ICE agents when he ran and abandoned the child. Our law enforcement, in these frigid temperatures, stayed with the child, tried to bring him into custody with the mother, who actually would not take the child into custody, which is so sad, so horrific. Our law enforcement officers actually were taking care of the child, brought him to McDonald's, were playing his favorite music to really calm him down. This is, as Mark, there's major riots forming around our law enforcement officers. That is horrendous that the child is having to face this, but our law enforcement officers were taking care of him, and he's now reunited with his father in a federal processing facility.
Redistricting is going to have a huge effect on the elections in congressional races. Deportation of illegal immigrants is going to have a huge impact after the census. I think the census should only include in the congressional makeup in the districting, because that's how it works. It's population based, and that's how they map out the districts, or are supposed to. I mean, we see crazy ones and they're not clean. And it's a mess. They're gerrymandering and to get, favorable districts for Republicans and Democrats. But you get SAFE Act, so you can't vote unless you have an ID. Democrats are saying this is racist, and it's making it so, the less fortunate and the minorities are going to be targeted and unable to vote. It's a complete lie. It's an excuse. And I don't understand how minorities buy into this, or anybody buys into this, because it's demeaning to minorities. You're saying that they're incapable of doing this, of getting a free ID. You can get a free ID from the DMV. Free. It's not a driver's license, but it's just an ID. That's it. I have to get an ID for buying alcohol, if you buy, tobacco products, firearms, getting on a plane. What else? Lottery tickets. Like, there's so many different things that you need to show your ID for. I mean, social media, getting verified. And these people are getting it perfectly fine with an ID. What about voting? They don't want integrity. They don't. They want illegals to bolster the numbers, inflate the numbers in Democrat cities that are asylum cities. So in the census, they have bloated numbers because of all these illegals and millions of illegals, and then their districts become more Democrat. And they get more districts in California and New York and everything like that because they're, Chicago, because of the population. So midterms are going to be interesting. Right now, numbers are not looking good for the next presidential race, but it's too far out. It's 3 years away. People are talking about Marco Rubio in his speech in Europe, basically saying we care so much and are so passionate and talking out about what's happening to European culture with the third world and Muslims invading and everything going on, because we are so connected. The Western culture is being attacked, if you haven't noticed. Christian values are foundational to most of the countries in Europe. We fought countless wars of the West against evils and people attacking Christians. And look up the studies of Crusades. Yeah, there was bad things that happened, but the Crusades were initially to defend and take back Christian lands in the Middle East and Northern Africa. They weren't Muslim. They were Christian for 1,000 years before Muslims even existed. So if you don't believe in God, I don't know what to tell you, but if you don't see between the Epstein Island and what's happening around the world and the attacks and just the pure evil, it's even in our churches, the Christian churches. You see it, and I mean, Drewski put out that megachurch comedy video trolling megachurches. And he didn't do anything other than literally quote and dress like and act like some of these megachurch pastors who are millionaires. Now, how many people can you help in your your congregation? The erosion of morality of what's on TV, social media, what's being taught in our schools, what's accepted or being tried to be accepted. So the elections, midterm elections are coming up. Again, should be interesting. There's going to be a lot of volatility. I mean, basically protests and riots are, especially election season, midterms, presidentials, are normal, which is concerning. The issue with communism and socialism is the elites always say, hey, we're here for the common man and the working man and all this stuff, and they have the caviar and champagne and cigars, and steaks and everything while everybody else is eating potatoes and starving. So midterms are going to be interesting. Locking down the border, the ICE agents, the immigration, and crime and murders. That's one thing that's overlooked even by the Republicans. Of crime has dropped drastically. Again, I live in Colorado, and Governor Polis, complete train wreck. I moved here in 2012, and in 14 years, the state is crime, car theft, SA, property taxes, cost of living. It's one of the top ones in the country now. Just constantly getting taxed. We're billions in the hole in the budget, so they're going to start raising fees and trying to raise taxes. And state's ruined. But Colorado has been a hotbed for crime for probably the last 6-7 years. Top 5 in almost every category. But Polis now, with crime rates going down, murders going down, etc.
Law and order is back in America under President Trump. And on that same note, there are new crime statistics that show crime is plummeting. In fact, Politico summed it up like this. Murder rates are tumbling across the U.S. in 2025. Homicide stats are down at least 20% over last year. And we could be on course for the lowest number on record. With President Trump in charge, the days of criminals being put over victims are over.
He's taken the victory laps, of course. That's politics, right? But across the nation, crimes have gone down, murders have gone down. And guess what? The one thing that's changed: mass deportation. It's not a coincidence. But midterms, it's going to be interesting. Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance are probably two front runners, it seems. I mentioned Marco Rubio was talking in Europe and was more of a olive branch to European countries, saying we do care about you. And that's why we're so passionate that you need to step up. Call them out in a nice manner, but we are invested into Europe because we are connected. The West, Western values, which is a good thing. Look at what we have. There was atrocities. It happens. Every nation in history has done it. Conquered. Enslaved. But we release the slaves. Hundreds of thousands of men died freeing slaves. White men. Some of those slave owners were black. So there's enough guilt to go around. But capitalism, Constitution, Bill of Rights have given millions of people a phenomenal life. Phenomenal. And we are slowly getting cooked because we have so much in our lives right now. Cell phones, YouTube, roof over our head. The standard of living that we have in the Americans, most of us, not me included, but most of the Americans have never gone outside the United States, especially a third world country, to make you appreciate what we have. The food options, electricity, heat, cars, working roads, garbage removal. The list is endless. We need to protect our Western values. Foundation is Christian values. Like it or not, it's a fact. Founding Fathers, Congress, they start off with a prayer. In their writings, they wrote about God and the beliefs and how our country will not survive, our Constitution won't survive unless we have a morally just people. Educated. Another concern about our education system of being so crappy. But it'll be interesting. Love your thoughts again in the comments. I appreciate you being here. Like and subscribe. And we'll see what next week holds. Iran, Epstein Island, God knows what else happens. I appreciate you.